Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. Today is Subs Replay Sunday, and we do it together. We hold hands, we cry in each other's beers, and we basically get on with life afterwards. This is SWAT 1919. Go wherever you want, says SWAT 1919. Words to live by. He is driving the LTTB, and he is here on Mirage, which is, it's a pretty good map for a tank like this. Lots of movement, lots of mobility, and lots of opportunity for someone who can go super fast with a very nice bit of firepower. Now, the armor on this thing is pretty horrifically good as well. They recently nerfed a whole bunch of tanks by trying to balance them via penetration, which I think is just a terrible way of balancing in the game, and I don't really see it as being anything that I would expect to change a lot of stuff. You've got to balance via all kinds of different things, but mostly you have to balance via what makes a tank good. And on this tank, it's the armor. The armor on this tank is tremendous, and you can see he's found the weak link at the back of the pack here, and he's going for it. Absolutely flogging along at pace, doing a big power slide. That Jagdpanzer 4 was just having a little break, thought he was okay to have a cup of tea before he commenced proceedings, and SWAT is just showing him, no mate, you're either on 24/7 in this game or you're not on at all. And he, friends and ladies and gentlemen, is not on at all. Bounces one from the Tiger 1, I think it was. Excellent little bit of love there. Gets another one in and another bounce. Remember I told you that the armor on this tank is pretty bloody good. That's a tier 7 light tank bouncing a tier 7 heavy tank. That should not be happening, but it sure is because Russian. Because of Russia. He's really given him a long time to aim there. It doesn't matter. Player _ 706 769 1542. Despite his Saturday Night Live tag is not penetrating the front of this Rusky Dynamo. He's really keen to do so though, and he's taking all his care and effort to aim in on the SWATster. He's fired, but snapped one off in desperation. Really not good. SWAT's feeling his oats. The Tiger 1 is in a terrible spot. Sets him on fire with another shot through the lower glacis, and kaboom, we have our third victim of the monster tank, the LTTB. SWAT is having a whale of a game. That Black Prince got tracked and stuck. The Black Prince, or as I like to call it, the Black Wince, is one of the slowest tanks you are going to find on the battlefield, which is all well and good until people start driving really fast around you, or you get tracked, or you can't move, and then you are absolutely grist for the mill. The MT-25, the tier 6 light tank in the Soviet line, I really didn't think that was that special a tank, and I still don't think it was that special a tank. We take out another player. You're seeing a trend here. There is a lot of player underscore followed by a number, which generally means they are a guest account that was formed via, I think it was a Facebook event that they held. And you can still get those guest accounts and log in and commence the game. But they are more or less considered to be novice players because they haven't been playing the game a long time. And it's generally going to be their first line they ground. But it's by no means a 100% hard and fast rule. There are some very good player underscores out there who just never bothered to change their names at all. SWAT is on 6 kills. He's got 1 to go. It's an IS. He doesn't quite have the hit point advantage, but he's certainly under the guns here as the light horse that charged Beersheba. Loved it. They absolutely went under the guns, and that's what SWAT's done. Gone right under the guns. The IS cannot hope to one-shot him now. And he's bounced another one with that tremendously soft, tissue-like, underpowered Russian armor. It's only Stalinium, boys and girls. Don't worry about it. And into the side of the IS. Completes his Rasenai, the tank ace made good, and gets a monstrously big amount of damage as well. However, 4,687 at tier 7, gets a RAS, gets a Top Gun, gets the high caliber award, obviously, because he did all the bloody damage. You can't hear it in the background. He's doing fist pumps and running around yelling, "Who the man, who the man, I'm the man, who the man." That is the best button ever. Did you see that? I'm just going to run that by you one more time again. You can see there that win clicks the carry hard button at the top of the page. And onwards they go. Now, win featured yesterday, and I don't like to often feature the same people all the time, but I have to, of course, look through videos for both quality in terms of the video itself and performance as in the game and narrative and such. And he just keeps giving me good stuff. I'm getting 60 to 70 people a week send videos in. And I wish I could put everyone in. I want you to understand that, but I just simply can't. It's just a fact of life. There's not enough space on the interwebs for me to be doing that. I've got to actually do other videos at other times. But this is the AMX M4 45, and this is one of my favorite French tanks. I absolutely loved this thing. Some people didn't. But this thing is monstrous. It's got this really, really steep upper glacis, and it's got a gun that is fantastic at on-the-move weaponry, as an on-the-move bit of weaponry. And you can see here, the sides, that glacial is just completely aimed up incorrectly. He is sideways. He should be backed right out so that all you can see is his steeply angled upper glacis and very, very steeply angled sides. There's no need for him to be hugging that edge there, but he wants to do that, and he's coming out sideways, and the IS-3 is even worse behind him. He's in a much more difficult situation because he doesn't have the cover of the stairs. Win, or win, as I'm just going to call him here now, winner, chicken dinner. There's his counterpart, the AMX M4 45 down the back, and he puts one into him. Just gets to pull back. Now, the turret is the weak point on this tank. You can go through the mantlet, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and that's exactly what he does there. The big win's asking for some help because obviously there's a lot of big tanks in front of him, not the least of which is the 2 Tier 8 heavies there with 400 alpha guns. Now, as nice and bouncy as the upper glacis on this thing is, it's a finesse tank. It is not a tank that you want to be sitting around hanging with, bouncing and trading shots. He gets a lucky one right on the center of the gun there. And that's very likely to happen though, because when you think about it, these tanks up top are firing at him from below. So all the angles on his tanks are increased. If you're up on this top area here and they're right down below you, oh, 2 beautiful shots there for 2 kills. And he's keeping his team in the game here. The IS-3 in front of him and the Glacial, which is no more, were big issues, and he's doing his level best just to control the map from the top, which is a good place to be, but unfortunately his teammates are dropping all around him. The IS-3 is trying to get around on the other side. He's definitely got eyes for winner, and well he may, because he's copped a fair serve at his hand. He's got that really weak area. It's about 40 mils on top of the IS-3's turret. It's a very, very soft spot, and once you get used to aiming for it, it can really ruin the day for an IS-3 that's trying to go hull down. He's pushing very hard here now. He wants to get behind this rock, get behind this M445. He's looking for HE shots in the back. There you go, or the side. The sides of this tank are wafer thin. Like, the French tank's armor is horrible. It's real finesse armor. You can only really use one part of it, and that's the upper glacis. The rest of it you've got to be very, very careful with, but you can see he is pounding damage into the side of that tank. He doesn't want to take any more, and he actually ends up with a very unfortunate teammate getting killed as he moves around that bit of rock. He didn't want to get shot again, and while he waited, the other guy decided just to push up, and he's saying stay alive to the IS-3 because he really needs a little bit of help here to carry this thing through. 1 on 3 may well be too much to deal with, and the IS-3 though is in a rock and a hard place. Quite literally, the Indian is pushing up on him from behind. He's willing to take some shots to get there. The IS-3 has 2 big tanks in front of him. It was really always going to be a massive ask for him to stay up, and player _16807877308 goes down. On the plus side, he's got a bit of his hit point pool left. Actually, he's got about 60%, 70% of his hit point pool left, which is great. And there's quite a few low hit point tanks over there. That's a great hit to get first time out. Manages to get to 54 lightweight, who's a big issue because he can get around him. He's got to get rid of this 44. 44 is big alpha, 280 alpha, which will wreck him. Giving him a couple of shots on that, and he'll struggle to survive. But they are all low and low hit point tanks now. The Indian misses. Big key miss. He has just as good a chance on the rate of fire stakes as the Indian. The gun on this tank is absolutely tremendous, and he's pushing hard around, but he doesn't have everyone spotted. Needs to get this one in, and he does. Brilliant shot. 44 there, and the Indian has to get one of these guys next. 44 is the only target. He prefer to get the Indian. He's looking for him. And that's a big miss. He's giving him that upper glacis. Angle, angle, angle. Got to angle. He's got him past him. He's going past. He's going to take one on the side. Could get the Indian here. He does. He's nearly got the 44. Oh, there's that big 280 Alpha. He's got to get past him. Needs to get one in here, and that's a bouncy tank. Gets the penetration, angling up. Oh, that's brutal. Absolutely massive effort there from Win. You can see why I had to put that one in. That is a tier 7 tank in a tier 8 match doing 5,139 damage and missing out in the carry by a smidgen of the hit point pool on a T29, and it would have been a monstrously large Kolobanov as well. I probably should have finished with that. That's as good a game as you're going to see, but I thought I would throw to a first-timer here, Pasca_Lumella, who is driving around Port Bay in the Waffle Tractor. The carry hard button there didn't quite work. Now, he's in a tier 10 game. The reason I included this is we've never really had a Waffle Tractor video before. It's because it's a really tough tank to drive, and he's running it with the 150mm, which means that if he's shooting over the back of the tank, he gets no gun elevation whatsoever. And running it over the back is the only way to get any gun depression. He does, however, over the front, get the ridiculous giraffe-like gun elevation, which means you're driving along like you're saluting at a May Day parade in the Russian mobile artillery piece. Here he goes. He's pushing to the flank. Is that right? That is a crazy move. Tier 10 game. Waffle Tractor, surely he can't be, and he's not. He's actually going to push up here and use the mobility of the Waffle to get there quickly, set up, let the camo set, and spot up his targets, because it is a supremacy game. So controlling this area here isn't as big a deal as it would be in just a full-blown encounter match. In fact, this is only a very, very small part of the map. B and C cap are great. A cap is every bit as important, and they haven't contested that. They've put all their eggs in the one basket here, and he's taken a lovely 400 bit of alpha there from the Leopard PTA. I'd expect that was a standard APCR shell, but you never know. He's aimed up the 150. It has not got the best stats in terms of accuracy in that, but it may be the best shot he's going to get. He's looking at it. He's thinking about it. It's been there a long time. There it is. He's waited, and he's got exactly what he wanted. Lovely bit of patience there, and that 700, along with the tap up from the T54, completely wrecks that Leopard PTA, and that's a big scalp to get from a bunch of guys that were out on the corner really owning it up. Look what's coming, though. That is about, 7,000 hit points worth of tier 10 nasty coming up the flank. Well, there's a T54 there, but he's a tier 10 tank. Switched over to the heat, 150mm, doesn't mind a little bit of E100 at all, and he's doing a great job here. He's really running it well. He's seen the move, and the Waffle has to give and go. It's got a rubber band in a situation like this. He's rolling forward to get his shots. He then drops back, because you've got to remember, any one of these 150mm firing E100s could put a 900 alpha shell in him every day of the week. A 900 alpha shell would in fact be a sub-average roll for the high explosive on an E100. So, you can imagine he's playing with fire here. He could be two-shot by any one of these tanks. He could just about be one-shot by a good roll from an E100. And he doesn't have a lot of options here, because that T54, once he pushes up, if he gets stuck hit point trading, he could be in real strife. Oh, he's being a brave man here. The 54 is missing a huge opportunity. He probably doesn't realise just how many tanks there are behind him. He's going to stick around and finish that E100. He does so, but now he's got massive problems, because the 54 and the E100 are both on him. He's got to stay out of that E100's line of sight. The E100's ignored him. He's decided he's too tough, can't get a hold of him, and he's using the wonderful pace. Look at him barreling along at 40 kilometres an hour, just wheeling and dealing on this 54. This is a superbly driven bit of work from the young man in the Waffle Tractor. The Waffle Tractor doing great stuff. T54 struggling to get the shot on. Oh, and he puts one in the hill. Terrible, terrible mistake. Just a touch from the Waffle Tractor's 150mm gun should do him, and it's all over. What a Herculean effort at the back there. You can see why I included this one. It was absolutely superb. He stood real strong against 3 real nasty tanks and laid out the love. The 150mm on the Waffle Tractor, he had 1,600 hit points, and he made them pay for every single bit. And he's come down here just to help finish off this last E100. All done, all sold. Sold to the man in the Waffle Tractor. Pascal Lamella, fantastic game, and gives it the salute. Bushka Jr. would say, fire off a victory round, Dad. Right about there. How many damages did he do? 6,544 damages with a high caliber award. Mastery badge, well deserved. Thanks very much for watching, guys. That's the end of another Subs Replay Sunday. As always, look out for the new channel, Bushka on Boats. There's a lot of good videos coming up. The missus is going to be recouping at home with me, so I'll be doing a little bit of work at home with the girl, making the tea, making sure the ankle is up. She is rested, she is iced, and she's all ready to go in 6 to 8 weeks when the walking boot comes off. Until next time, look after your families, be nice to your mum and dad, and stay safe on the battlefield.